Hello everyone, this is Boricua Binks and welcome back to Let's Play Lake of Voices. I think this is it, guys. I think we finally landed on the correct alternate Lou route that I've been searching for all this time. And I mean, we thought this homeboy was dead, but it looks like he somehow fought back this time compared to before. But he did lose a finger in the process. But now he just dropped this freaking bomb on us. He says that apparently the Nixie are not afraid of light, but they use it to track who's on their lake. Holy crap. Everything stops. My mouth falls open, and yet no words come forth. All I can do is look at him, searching for answers I can't bear to ask for. Oh, snap. Lou steps out of the all-consuming darkness. I finally get a clear look at his wounds. Ooh, it's that bad, huh? Blood seeps from the deep gashes and cruel bites all over him, staining his clothes and coating his quaking body. He doesn't make any attempt to hide it or wipe it away. Wait. That's right! That's right! In the one of the previous episodes when we fought back at the, or even in the last one, after Lou died, the Nixie that was behind her, we cut it and it was bleeding white. Holy crap! Lou, homeboy, you ain't human, are you? Oh my god! I've been saying for like the longest time, as a joke and kind of serious, I was like, oh my god, guys, what if somebody's actually Dillard? Like, what if somebody turns into a Nixie? I thought they could turn into one, but maybe he was one all along? I... Are you Dillard, Lou? All along? Oh my god, that'd be something else. It's pure white. Sounds erupt from the lake. A wild, frenzied gurgling comes from near the surface. The Nixie are responding to Lou's action. He turns to the lake and glares at the water.
Be quiet!
Oh? They listened to him! But they did attack him, so... I don't know. In an instant, their chattering ceases and the area falls dead silent. This is so interesting. He lets out a harsh breath and continues to leer fiercely out into the distance, his whole battered body visibly tense under his nearly glowing blood. I can't do anything. I can't even move. The suffocating tension of the scene is broken by a clang on the bridge. My will is finally placed back into my own hands. I swing my head around towards the sound. The guide dropped my lantern. He's unblinkingly stunned at the development, but suddenly a glassy calm comes over and envelops him completely. He stares at Lou with an unidentifiable expression. Uh-oh. What's happening?
So, everything I've done has been pointless then.
Oh shoot, he didn't know. Oh my god. Poor guide. I think this is gonna shake him to the core. Before the guide can even think about saying more, Lou abruptly interjects, voice vibrating with desperation.
No, it hasn't been.
His calm completely shatters, as though it had never been there.
How?
Uh-oh. Lou meekly gazes back, not prepared to actually defend his statement.
This isn't over yet. Maybe there's still time. No, there isn't.
The guide parts with most of his previous emotion, and deftly reaches into his cloak. He retrieves his set of matches. I'm suddenly drawn from the floating ether of uncertainty back to attention. I gawk at him wildly. Surely he couldn't intend on setting the bridges on fire right now. I disbelievingly reach out to him, yet I'm too late as the matches struck and dropped at his feet. This dude is freaking suicidal. He freaking killed us in his own ending. And now this? Oh my god. He's like, my life has no meaning. I want to die. I recoil sharply as the flame immediately grows around him and starts to crawl in every direction. My head swerves to Lou and Margaret, then back to the guide. The fire has already engulfed enough of the bridge to cut us off from each other. He makes no attempt to flee. I merely cast a sorrowful glance at him through the growing black smoke. He doesn't return my gaze. He only looks straight ahead with dead, empty eyes. Oh no! I wrench my attention away from him and onto Margaret and Lou. I shout over the crackle of the already waist-high flames.
We need to go.
How are we gonna make our way without him now? Lou catches my gaze and determination fills his eyes. Margaret is gasping and wheezing from panic. She shoots me a solid look to show me she still understands. She pries her fingers off of the guide's staff. I take a few reluctant steps away. I'm gonna save again, actually. I should have saved last time. Because I haven't gotten the choice that I see here yet. But apparently, I'm gonna get 3 separate endings from this one choice. So, I need to make sure I'm doing the correct one to get Lou's, but I'm tempted to actually show you guys the other 2, just to see what it is. I take a few reluctant steps away, lingering for a moment as I give the guide one last parting look, before dashing full force to be with the 2 I need to protect.
Do you know which way to go? Can you run?
He nods confidently at me.
Yes.
I thought you said you were too injured, dude. Then he grows sheepish and hastily adds,
To both.
I look at him, filled with the strangest, strongest rush of emotions I've ever experienced. Our eyes meet for a second, and with that, one thought rises above all the rest. We will be there for each other, no matter what.
Then lead the way.
Yay, he's our new guide now. With little time to process it all, the 3 of us sprint over the bridges in a race against time as the fire continues its ravenous approach. Alongside the crackling of the flames is the returning voices of Nixie. They are growing louder and clearer than ever before. As we run, I see many of them keeping pace with us, swimming alongside the bridge's edge. One of them shoots a gaunt limb straight out of the water and latches onto Lou's leg. Oh no! He stumbles and starts falling forward. I react fast enough to grab onto the back of his shirt, which gives him enough support to remain standing. Lou struggles madly with the creature, trying to kick it off. As he wrestles against its grip, the Nyx mutters something to Lou, its foreign words a low clicking that vibrates in my feet before suddenly jumping up so high and harsh it makes me grit my teeth. Lou shouts back, his voice contorting with the same inhuman sounds I've been hearing all night, his words just as indecipherable as the Nyx's. I have little idea what is being said. However, with the way Lou is aggressively shaking his head at the Nyx, it can only be terrible. I work to help Lou free himself. I need to get him away. As I lean in, I stifle a gasp. The hold... Oh no! It's damaging his foot. The hold the Nyx has on him is so deep it drags sinewy bits into view as he feverishly struggles against it. I hear a gurgle. Oh no! They are destroying this man. Oh no. Just before white liquid rushes out from his lacerations, simultaneously spurting and pooling on the wood beneath him. Lou's pure white blood floods over the side of the bridge and bleaches the black of the water. As he thrashes even more violently, I hear the horrible, drawn-out rip of dozens of flesh layers tearing in two. Please stop. It's a little too descriptive for me right now. I'm freaking out, like, ugh. Even though I know it's futile. Oh god. I can't. You can read this, but yeah, his foot is ripped. Okay, I'm not reading all of this. It's too much. Jesus Christ. Consider taking out my sword. I fear it won't be of much use, but I'm willing to try anything at this point. Then Lou does the impossible. He manages to give me a small smile.
It's okay. I don't need it.
What? He bends down to the Nyx locked like a ball and chain onto his leg. Lu's fingers suddenly bend straight down flat against his hand. It shudders and pulses until his fingers contort out into narrow black appendages that glisten in the firelight. With a soggy, grinding claws curl out from under his coal-colored skin? Without a moment's hesitation, he slashes through the mutilated remains of his foot. Oh my god. This is gruesome. His claws ring clean through and the foot severs. It slides off with little resistance, ripping away from the rest of his leg with nothing but ropes of discolored flesh. Soon even those snap completely. The Nyx falls into the water, with the mangled extremities still clutched tight. Lu didn't give it time to grab hold of anything else. A broken, incredulous gasp escapes me. Lu stands as tall as he can muster on his now uneven legs, wobbling slightly as he shifts weight off his blood-drenched stub. What the F?
We have to keep going. I could still run. This won't be a problem.
Well, there's his claws. How are you gonna run with one foot? Like his hand before, the fleshy stump of his ankle contorts before stretching. A thick, milky substance between solid and liquid unfolds from it, warping into a sort of peg leg. What the hell? Oh my god. I can't keep from gawking. Margaret is gaping as well. Lu doesn't pay either of our reactions any mind, beckoning us forward. He pushes down the bridges once more. So I'm wondering if he actually survived before, when we lost sight of him. You know? Because knowing he's one of them makes me wonder. I snap out of my stupor and jostle Margaret out of hers. She blinks a few times before coming to. We both start running after Lu. I continue to see glimpses of movement on the otherwise stagnant lake, but there haven't been any further attempts to impede us. What Lu did or what he said to that one Nyx must have them on guard. With no grasping appendages reaching for us, we fly across the bridges and don't stop until the fire is far behind us. Twice, Margaret slows down from exhaustion, but I shoot her a pleading, encouraging look, and that is all it takes for her to find the will to keep going. Lu never slows or falters, despite all common sense. Through the mist, the faint silhouette of the shore comes into view. Despite the end finally being in sight, I refuse to let hope enter my mind. I thought I understood what I needed to, but I clearly don't know anything about what resides in this lake or what it's capable of. Oh no. After exerting our bodies nearly to their limit, we arrive at a dead end. Oh no, Lu was wrong! We did need the guide. Are we gonna die out here again? Lu gapes, and my heart sinks. I look at him through ragged breaths.
Is there another path?
Lu teeters towards the edge of the bridge, looking shocked. Then panic overtakes his face.
I don't know. I don't know what I thought. I've never remembered these bridges. I've never done anything right.
His sunken shoulders and despondent voice tell me he's lost his spirit.
It's possible you took the correct way and it sunk. It's not your fault, Lu.
Lu doesn't reply and simply hangs his head, at a loss for words. I bite my lip. I open my mouth to insist we start looking for another bridge when a familiar, callous voice interrupts me. Wait, what? Are you kidding? After what you did, burning the bridge, now you come and you're like, oh, I guess I could save you. Stupid guide.
You are correct. This bridge would have taken you to shore.
I whip around to see the guide. I'm unable to do anything but blink in shock. Margaret looks on in full disbelief.
You're alive!
Surprisingly. He slinks in front of us, staring levelly.
The only one who believed that you weren't capable was yourself. But this is the end. Every path to the other side is gone.
Oh, shoot. Margaret isn't able to do anything except place her hand over her mouth in bewilderment.
So you're...
I can't bear to finish the sentence. He answers regardless.
I am. Lu is not. At least not any longer. He chose his side.
Wait, what? Are you saying the guide is one too? What the? What was up with that dramatic act of burning the bridges and being shocked? Man, what the? Okay. Interesting. Lou finally turns from the lake to glower directly into the guide's eyes. The guide answers with his usual blank expression. So what? I need an explanation from you, guide. What has all of this been for?
So you sunk the bridges. Of course.
Oh, he sunk them by doing the fire then?
Did you also cause that board to suddenly break under Kika?
Yes.
Damn. So he didn't... So he's the reason that the bridges were late in coming up in all routes except for his own because we bonded with him? How much power do you have, dude? Then why did you take us with you into the water? You knew we would die even if you wouldn't, right? What the hell? With that admittance, Lou explodes into rage. Now Margaret accompanies Lou in his anger, glaring fiercely at the guide herself.
You lied to us!
You were the ones who chose to gamble with your lives. I warned you of what would happen.
Margaret clenches her fists in lividity.
We made our decision based on what we knew of the lake. Information we got from you, which was lies.
Oh, I guess Bemele never gets to see this, does he? He never gets to know the truth. Oh my god. The guide quips back with an irritated quality to his voice.
What you did know as truth was that almost all those who cross Sinlos die. To think you would be an exception was foolish.
Why do you bother, then, being this guide? Margaret merely snarls at his words.
You can make as many excuses as you want. You're still a heartless murderer. And if you control the bridges, you could have killed us at any time. But instead, you've gone through this entire charade like it's some sort of game.
Yeah.
Everything we have relies on this game. My role in it is to act as a human guide. I cannot stop or take the easy option simply because I personally think that might be nice. We have to be committed if we want to survive.
And they do attack him, right? Unless he's faking his actual injuries at that point when we have to carry him. He releases his anger before continuing on.
And that is not all. You may not believe this, considering your situation, but no one here enjoys looking upon the faces of individuals and picking who will get to see the other shore and who will be killed. Instead, we usually leave each traveler's fate in their own hands. Follow my guidance, don't make mistakes, and you should survive. I would not have needed to tip the scales if everyone here played their part.
What the hell? You already got Bemele. Why did you have to try to kill Kika then, huh? The guide's insinuation on who to blame is clear. Margaret turns to face Lou and narrows her eyes accusatorily at him.
While we were on the island, you helped the guide when he was in a position he couldn't easily sneak out of. Why would you do anything for him, knowing what you knew?
Her voice rises. She has a point.
Why weren't you using your informed position to help us from the start if you actually cared?
I didn't do it for him. I did it because I was worried Kika might get involved. And I obviously can't even help myself. How can you think I might have been able to do something for you?
The guide pointedly interjects.
No one should have gotten involved with that. I intended to let myself be injured to reaffirm my humanity.
Oh!
Unlike Lou, I am capable of disguising even the color of my blood.
Oh! That explains a lot there. Ooh, this game is so smart! Man, creators, y'all brilliant. Oh my lord. Margaret still seems firmly suspicious of Lou, while he looks defensive. I watch these exchanges unfold intently. I can understand why they're so crushed over this, and why Margaret is searching for more lies. It's hard to trust much after this. But right now, our lives are in the guide's hands. If anything is to come from this, it'll be from trying to understand him and getting him to understand us. Okay? I take a single step towards the guide.
Why does someone have to choose one side over the other? I may be human, but that does not mean I want to see more lives lost, and that includes the Nixie. I don't believe your kind must cease to exist.
Lou cautiously nods.
Keeping humans away through fear may work for now, but their settlements will only grow. Eventually they'll be coming onto the shores with more in mind than simply crossing. Why would it be such a problem if not everyone in the world hated us?
If it's possible, the guide's visage pales even more. He gives us a distant look.
I know that I can only put off the inevitable. We cannot grow an army or create grand weapons, or even retreat. Someday humans will be capable of conquering us. Yet approaching them on our own will not save us. It will only hasten our demise. Nixie are known as monsters, and I, as the guide, am a well-trusted figure among several human communities. If they find out the truth, it is foolish to believe they will react with kindness and forgiveness. If you wish to blame me for putting our kind in this position, you may. The pollution from the single camp Garvin established all those years ago was enough to disturb our lake noticeably. It couldn't go on.
Okay, so this goes back to the whole Garvin thing. How much of what he told us was the truth and how much was a lie, though? On his route, you know?
I assumed a human form, copying much of Garvin's appearance because I was unsure how else to appear.
Oh.
And failed to reason with him. That may have been due to my own shortcomings. We still needed them to leave, and I knew enough to guess that if Garvin was gone, the others would abandon the quest. He was the only one stopping the retreat, and the only one who needed to be sacrificed for the safety of everyone.
Interesting. You did say he went out onto the bridges and then never returned.
So, when Garvin went out onto the bridges alone, I killed him there. That was the turning point where we became labeled as a frightening, lurking threat.
Interesting.
I have been trying to take responsibility for what I did, and decided to use the humans' idea of what we were to our advantage. We are natural shapeshifters, so appearing as monsters was not outside the realm of possibility.
Interesting. I feel beads of sweat form as I start to quake. I knew the guide's life story must have been false considering what he truly is, but directly hearing what transpired with Garvin is still difficult to take. The man before me killed him. Lou steps forward and looks the guide straight in the eye.
Garvin was a leader who only thought of his own goals and refused to listen to anyone else's point of view. Can't you see that you become the same?
That is fine. I do not think myself superior to Garvin. Indeed, I believe that his ultimate ambition was correct. Garvin may have been driven by his naive, childish need to fill his life with accomplishments, but his working at those achievements made it possible for those around him to thrive. Kika herself benefited from it, as did countless others in the villages he established.
The guide pauses to steal a quick glance at me before continuing on.
In the end, the reason the Nixie cannot trust that peace will be possible with the humans is not due to the fact that we're different, but because we are the same.
Interesting.
When the time comes, and it will come, humans and Nixie will choose to protect the ones they care for most, and forsake those they don't. Either humans will immediately want revenge for the lies and deaths the Nixie have committed while also wanting to remove a threat, or there will be a mere illusion of peace until we and Sinlos can be used as tools for human affairs. Since humans do not get along with themselves, positive terms with us will certainly not last. Refusing to let anyone cross, allowing the wrong people on our lake, or even speaking out of turn could mean some communities think we're deserving of an attack. And of course, we should remember what happened to the other guard who was with us. You here could have helped him, and yet you did not.
I tried, you a-hole! I tried! I close my eyes for a moment, willing myself to not get too emotional. My heart aches and sinks to the pit of my stomach at the memory of Bemele. How dare you? You asshole, I hate you so much.
This lake is cruel and unforgiving. It forces one to make such heartless decisions. However, you would not have been spared that outside its reaches. That is simply the way of this world. Some can be saved, others cannot. No matter how poorly you wish to think of me, I merely made a choice that couldn't be escaped.
This is crazy.
You must realize that reaching out to humans won't create a place where everyone is spared from a dark fate. It will only risk the safety of us instead of them.
It's clear the guide is unambiguously certain there is no other way. I have no hope of convincing him to give any human a chance in the little time we have remaining before the bridges sink. The defeated look on Margaret's face tells me she has come to the same conclusion. She has no retort for the guide, even though she likely disagrees. We both know there is no point in trying to save ourselves. While on this lake, all the cards are in his hand. Trying to overcome the horrible laws of Sinlos was a futile goal from the beginning. It is a sobering fact to learn. Still, I'm not willing to stop here. My efforts don't have to amount to nothing. I take a solitary breath. My life hasn't been ripped from me just yet, and there is something I can do that may help another. So we're probably gonna die, but this last choice might change things for the future? I look directly into the guide's empty, distant eyes.
Yes, I can understand such concerns. But why have you not sunk this bridge yet?
It will naturally fall shortly.
But you can sink a bridge early if you so choose, and you haven't. Even if you did not want to expend your magic, you did not have to come here or stay this long. Why are you speaking to us at all when you could end this?
He doesn't reply, only watching me with an unreadable expression. My heart pounds in my chest as I tentatively pose my next question.
Is it possibly because you don't want it to end this way? Do you want your words to change something?
Now that I'm aware of the full context of the guide's situation, I'm under the impression that he is not as callous as he initially appeared. He deals with situations in certain ways, of which I've started to catch on to. So the reason why it looks like there's not a second guide route is because this route is kind of like a Lou/guide route. That's interesting. Both Margaret and Lou look on dubiously at my attempt to reach him. The guide offers us a doleful smile.
Is that honestly so surprising, Lou? I am not eager to participate in your death. None of us are.
Upon being suddenly addressed and with such words, Lou is taken aback, but almost immediately his guard is put up once more.
After everything you said about necessary sacrifices, how can you pretend that you care about one useless Nyx?
It's true that we cannot ignore what has happened. We need to protect ourselves. Yet I know that this is the worst outcome in all our minds.
Despite his words falling on completely deaf ears, the guy desperately continues struggling to connect with Lou. Are they even related somehow, maybe? Distant cousins or something?
I did not suggest you stay off the bridges because I don't trust you. It was because you were clearly self-sabotaging and I felt worried. And when you were found, I wanted you to leave to lessen your offense, not because I didn't want you.
Interesting.
Even when I took the drastic measure of dropping Kika into the lake, I did it because I hoped it would cause you to prioritize saving yourself, not because I wanted to hurt you. Did you not hear the other Nixie encouraging you to fix this that first night? Then, despite continuously refusing to do what you needed to, I made sure you at least safely reached the island when you did not remember the way. You didn't need Kika to protect you, Lou, because all of us were, in the very beginning.
Interesting. He releases a pent-up breath.
Still, you cannot be blamed for responding to her kindness. I had not realized the extent of your emotions, and that left you feeling isolated. I may be distant, but I believed you understood why. I was wrong.
He casts his eyes downward forlornly. Are you like his father or something? Like, I don't know. I'm curious about the relation. Unless it's just like, you know, a village leader to one of his subordinates and he just feels bad.
It was my mistakes that cost you your life. I truly and deeply apologize.
Interesting. I'm in awe of the sight before me. It feels almost surreal to see him so emotional and open. For a moment, Lou seems moved by his words. His eyes become glossy. However, he refuses to embrace that emotion and turns away.
It doesn't make a difference now. I'm not leaving her. That's what matters to me.
The guide's sorrow swells at Lou's response. He moves as if to reach out to Lou, but doesn't follow it through. Regardless, he doesn't contest Lou further. It is Margaret who finds the will to speak up in the pocket of silence.
If you really want to help Lou, and Lou wants to help us, why not give her and me a chance, just this once? I promise that we can be trusted.
No. You cannot leave this lake with the knowledge you have. That is an immovable law we abide by. Now, if I had wanted to spare you by allowing you to live here, I still wouldn't be able to. In some ways, I could be considered a leader of the Nixie. However, I am not a monarch. Decisions such as that aren't ones I can make on my own.
He turns to look out at the water. He speaks up loudly across the lake.
To those who are listening, this is your time. If you would like these humans to survive by remaining with us, you may say so now.
Holy crap, we could stay with them? How? Unless that's what he intended in his ending when he took us into the water with him? And we just didn't get to see it? Now I'm curious. My eyes dart across left and right, desperately clinging to the hope of hearing something. Anything. To my utter dismay, there's scarcely even a ripple of movement on the surface of the water. Every moment of silence, my heart pounds louder and louder in my ears. The Lake of Voices is silent. Oh! The title of the game makes sense now. No, that's so cool. Gosh, I'm such a big fan of this game now. It's so cool. Softly, the guide pleads with Lou once more.
Come back to us.
I thought you wanted to kill him, though. I'm confused. Lou flinches at the demand and stays rooted to the spot. The guide continues urging him.
I want to listen to you, Lou. I want you to be saved. But I can't so long as you've forsaken us.
Lou pulls his arms together and stares down at the ground, trembling. The guide's gaze weighs into him as he sinks further and further into himself. It's as though he's ready to curl back into a ball like when we first met. Then Lou shifts his head up somewhat to peek over at me. There's something unnameable behind his eyes. I can't find the words to speak, so I look back at him sympathetically. It's all I can do at this point. His head falls back down. Reluctantly, while trembling, he turns his body away from me. The action is so slow, it feels as though he's wrenching himself away from my presence. He starts to walk past without acknowledging me again. I still struggle to say anything as he makes his decision. Margaret's jaw is clamped shut as well, and so the two of us merely watch him leave solemnly. Lou almost gets ahead of Margaret when he hesitates in front of her for the briefest of moments. Oh? I had a feeling he's up to something. Then he picks his head up and thrusts his hand at her, grabbing her by the arm. Faster than I can react, Lou pushes her hard to the side. She doesn't even have a chance to stumble as she is tossed right off the edge. Now, is this gonna save her life, or is this gonna screw her over in order to save me? Like a bad dream, where I am moving too slow, Margaret reaches out her hands to grab onto something. I rush forward to her, but it's too late. I arrive at the edge as she sinks below the surface.
Margaret!
I watch helplessly as the black water stills completely, as though nothing and no one fell through it mere moments ago. It feels unreal. How could this? Why would this? The sound of Lou's fragile voice breaks the trance shock put me in.
I'm sorry.
I whip around to face him. I'm reeling from shock, but anger claws its way up now. His arms are tightly wrapped around himself. He looks ashamed, as though that is enough to make up for what he's done. Poor Margaret, what the hell? I thought you were trying to help us, but now I don't... You... Whatever, man.
That's always been what I had to do to come back. Kill a human.
Oh, jeez. I can only respond by widening my eyes even further as I desperately try to process what just transpired and why. I look over at the guide. The earnest man, overcome with such vulnerability only moments ago, is now replaced by the same detached expression I've been treated to over and over again on this journey of night terrors. It's an unbearably cruel reminder of where I am. Lou's eyes flit to the side in shame.
Talking to humans is completely forbidden. Even if you didn't mean for it to happen, it's still a terrible mistake. As the guide was saying, I could have made up for it by returning to my prowler form and properly fulfilling my responsibilities. But I didn't do that. I went with you. The punishment for that kind of knowing offense is death.
He frowns bitterly at the words.
You mean, if you had just not... If I hadn't insisted, then...
I start to trail off into disorganized babbling at the revelations this brings.
No, don't blame yourself. It's almost a guarantee someone would have been lost on this lake without me there. And I still would have died too.
Yeah, that's what ends up happening. You die, and somebody else always ends up dying. God, this sucks.
I felt worthless. I wouldn't have been able to maintain the form or follow the patrol. So it was going to be over for me. I accepted that. I'm sorry I had to drag you down with me.
Lou doesn't wait for my reaction. He turns away, hardening his expression to face the guide.
With that, I can say you haven't rejected what it means to be one of us. Speak. We'll hear you.
Lou's determination falters slightly. He tries to sound self-assured, but it is obvious that he's nervous.
I'd like you to give Kika a chance. She's kind and she cares for others. Even those who don't do her any good.
He says the last part rather harshly, guilt straining his voice. All around us, so that's them talking, that's interesting. A barely audible chorus of whispers emanates from the lake. I can only feel the sensation of sound, as I'm completely lost as to what they are saying in their foreign tongue. The guide closes his eyes and listens for a moment. He nods imperceptibly. He reopens his eyes and they're trained directly on me.
We will continue to kill humans who enter our world, as we've already done to those you care for. Accepting Lou's recommendation means you're willing to also accept that kind of sacrifice for our sake. If you cannot, so be it. The choice is yours to make. Show us where your values lie.
Oh, okay, so this is it. I kept wondering where to save. Okay, I got a big choice to make here. I'm interested in all these endings, but right now I think the one I really want to get is the one with Lou, because that's the whole point of all of this. I swallow hard. The voices dissipate once more. Despite still being under the surface, I can feel the eyes of every Nixie on me. But man, he just killed Margaret. I'm kind of mad at him. Lou doesn't speak. He knows that the choice is mine alone to make. Yet he is pouring his heart and soul into the gaze he's giving me. He's risked everything to try to save me. That's true. I know he killed her kind of in order to get this chance. I can't bear to speak to either man. My choices are either to lose my life to this lake, or to abandon it to the same place. I search inside of myself. As much as I've pretended to be strong, to be sure, all this time I've never known for certain how I should live or what I should be living for. But somehow this journey has given me a clearer view than I've ever had before. A sliver of a tear escapes my eye. Then finally, I ball my hands into fists, prepared to face my fate. I want a chance. Lou lets loose a sigh of relief like a gale. He shoots me an emotionally charged expression before shifting hopefully to the guide. The guide keeps his focus fixed on me.
Your understanding did something we failed to do. Save one of our own. I see no reason to refuse your honest request. There is an island the bridges do not connect to. It is yours to live on.
Oh, that's interesting. So there's a separate island that she's gonna have to live on with Lou, then? That's kind of lonely, though. What a life. The dead end is magically restored by the sunken bridge rising up from below.
That temporary pathway will take you there. The maze will still sink as a whole rather soon, for it cannot be up during the day. However, if you do enter the water, no harm will come to you now.
Interesting. I'm not able to take a step onto the new avenue in front of me. My life had been forfeit only seconds before, and now the sudden shift is too jarring to process. Something gently brushes my arm. I jump, causing Lou himself to flinch at my response. He smiles at me apologetically. He'd been trying to get my attention. I don't even know when he got so close. Before he can vocalize his thoughts, the guide interrupts.
Return to the lake, Lou. You need to start healing. It will only worsen here in the open air. You can meet Kika on the island. You need not worry.
Oh, so he heals. That's interesting.
But
Lou, it's alright.
He likely doesn't want me to be alone, nor does he want to be alone himself. He remains unsure, and I harden my expression at him. He finally stops resisting his need to rest. First, he merely backs away from... excuse me. First, he merely backs away from me, before then leaping into the water, vanishing under the murky surface. I stare blankly at the water, which stills in a matter of seconds, as I have seen it do more than once. The guide manifests beside me. I don't react to his presence.
I would like to know why you chose to stay. I ask you not to judge, but so that we may be more accommodating if you had some sort of hope as to what your life will be.
It's a loaded question. I wonder how I could possibly even articulate my reasons for choosing this, especially to him. Alright. I wonder what this option is. Do not answer him. But I see here there's two separate endings. Like I said, I'm going for the one with Lou right now, so I couldn't leave Lou. My reply is firm. I shouldn't hide from it, or the reasons why I made it in the first place. The guide releases a short laugh. It doesn't feel belittling or sardonic, but instead sounds satisfied.
If that is what you want, then I'm certain you will have it. Lou will never part from your side. He'll also be better because of it.
A fond smile finds its way onto the guide's lips. This is like an interspecies love. Romeo and Juliet kind of thing. With that, he promptly walks down the newly risen bridge. I teeter back, unsure of myself. Before he can walk too far away, I force myself to follow. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to Bemele, to Margaret, to the villages of Hemmer, to everyone who put their faith in me. I bid all of them a forlorn farewell internally, as I continue behind the guide on the bridge into the unknown. As I set foot onto the shore of this new island, the guide disappears without another word. I'm not alone for very long. Lou rises up from the lake to greet me. Though they're far from completely healed, His wounds seem considerably improved and no longer seep white. Whatever was keeping me standing fades, and my knees buckle beneath me. I let myself fall backwards into the soft sand. Dripping dark water, Lou carefully takes a seat beside me. He scoots in slowly, watching my face intently for any sign of discomfort with him being so close. Aww. When I show none, and his legs are near enough to just brush against mine, he leans in and rests his head on my shoulder. He's still shaken from all that happened. I allow him this small comfort. God, I have mixed feelings, okay? Poor, poor Margaret and Bemele, and even Kika. This is not exactly the happy life that she was hoping for, but at least she's with Lou, and at least she's alive. For a time, neither of us say a word. We just listen to the whisper of black, heavy water lapping at the edge of the sand and each other's breathing. Eventually, I feel as much as I hear him swallow. His jaw moves like a soft drum against my collarbone, and his meek, breathy words just barely break through the waves of the lake. I wouldn't be able to hear him if his skin wasn't pressed against mine.
Sorry you have to be here. I never thought...
He starts to ramble on. I bring myself to smile gently at him. I can't blame Lou for what happened. If his plan had been to hurt us, he could have taken the opportunities presented to him. Lou has no wicked intentions lurking inside. Surely he was forced to make painful decisions by a cruel world.
I understand. You do not have to take responsibility for all this yourself. If you hadn't come tonight, I may very well have lost my life on those bridges.
Thank you.
His soft, remorseful voice trails off, and he presses his head further into my neck intimately. He curls his uninjured hand around mine.
And you're still right. It isn't truly over. We have time, and we'll find a way to make something of what we have left. I believe that. I only can because you did first.
He smiles hesitantly, yet the tenderness in his face is unmistakable.
Thank you.
This time he speaks with gratitude rather than regret.
Do you remember when I said the reason I came was because I didn't want to die alone? That was just at first. After a while, I only kept staying because I thought something might happen to you. All I hoped for at the end of this night was that you'd live.
He squeezes my hand a little tighter.
But you stopped the inevitable again, and I'm still here. We both are. I'm not sure if it's possible to make up for this, especially for someone like me. But I want to try.
I feel a bright sense of purpose radiate off of him. I cannot allow myself to give up. Someone out there is still counting on me, and I can rely on Lou's strength as well. It's true that there is no way to save everyone. However, the both of us are able to continue on, and that is not meaningless. This island is much larger than the one used during crossings. I'm grateful for that, at least. I continue my training regimens each day, both out of habit and a desperate attempt to maintain some normalcy. Lou and the other Nixie bring me food and books and other items from the other side. I've learned that Lou and the guide are not the only Nixie who can speak my language or take human form, though not all can manage bodies with so much detail. And some do not have a nocturnal lifestyle either. In this way, I've become acquainted with many more Nixie. The island and lake are constantly busy. It's almost like a small village. Yet the minor familiarities are not enough for me to forget the situation I'm in. She's kind of like a prisoner, honestly. Or what happened to bring me here. I think of Bemele and Margaret daily. How could I escape such thoughts when I'm surrounded by their final resting place? I only pray that they can find peace. Only a few days after the ordeal, Liu completely recovered from his injuries. Even his severed finger and foot were fully reformed. It was shocking to me, but that is not much of a feat for him. Feet, get it? As soon as he recovered, Liu insisted on building a shelter for me on the island. He was concerned about me having to sleep outdoors. Honestly, I hardly thought about it. The whole situation is far too strange and unbelievable. The notion that I may never leave this place is frightening, and has not truly sunk in. I am grateful to at least have Liu to comfort me, even though he continues to act as though it is I who is supporting him. He has refused to take on the role of a prowler ever again. Instead, Liu spends nights staying near me. We share our mutual frustration at knowing there are people on the lake who are unaware of what is really going on. The both of us are in agreement that something can still be done, that something must be done. And, as Liu likes to remind me, it isn't over. Not for either of us. Even in this painful situation, I can take some peace in knowing I am not alone. Got an achievement unlocked that says together, and it has Liu's face. Hey, I think that was the true ending of the game, you guys. We finally got a happy Liu ending. Happy in quotation marks, but yeah, it was really interesting. I'm dying to see if anything got Yes! The bonus events are now unlocked. Yeah, this was the true end. What is it with all these dating games that the redheads are usually like the true ending guys, you know? They know me so well. But that will be it for this episode and this LP, you guys. As much as I would like I said, maybe I was considering showing like the other ending if I made the other choices, or showing you the bonus stuff. I just don't really have the time or energy right now. Maybe someday I'll come back and show you the bonus stuff. I don't know. We'll see. But thank you. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. Thank you to the developer for encouraging me to look for this other ending, because now I have my answers. Now I'm like, oh my god, everything was so amazing, and I get to see all of your writing and the wonderful voice acting. So I've really loved this game. I've really enjoyed this Let's Play / stream, because I was streaming it in the beginning. But yeah, that will be it from me for this game. So thank you guys, and until next time, next LP, have a nice day. Bye bye!